Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast about finding entertainment in the macabre. Hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura and Richard Mathiasen. Each episode, we discuss the horror genre, from books to film to TV and beyond. And sometimes even from the beyond. You can find us on YouTube at Terror in Tandem, on Instagram at Terror in Tandem, and you'll always find our latest episode on our website, terrorintandem.com.
Oh, hello.
Welcome. Oh, what a lovely day.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's cool. It's breezy.
Yeah,
it's lovely.
Springish.
Ish.
And, lots of things happening, obviously.
I'm surrounded by demons, ghouls, goblins. All sorts
all the
of,
time.
Yeah.
And we know how to deal with them.
I mean,
because we've watched and read so much horror.
Yes. I know all the rules. Yeah. Everything I own is silver and garlic.
Yeah, exactly. How would you deal with a demon for real?
Me?
Yeah.
A demon or a ghost?
No, a demon.
Demon?
I just said demon.
Well, demon, I would learn the rules and then, try to contact some experts. Get some, like, a geomancer or a shaman or a, some sort of like a brujo.
A new neighbor is a demon, and there's a neighborhood meeting about it, and we're like, they're definitely a demon. And people start to go missing. You would take it on and deal with it.
Well, so what I understand from demons is once a demon has you in their sights, so to speak, it has your interest, that you have their interest, they're not going to leave you alone. They follow you. It's not a specific place that's being haunted. It's a curse that's basically placed on you. It's like being stalked. So the thing about demons also is they're usually pretty bound to rituals and rules. So I would consult the experts if we're talking about like an East Asian demon.
But what if it's
I'd go to a
like
geomancer
a demon who lives
or a shaman
in the neighborhood?
Why you got to find out more. Knowledge is key when you're dealing with demons. You got to find out the history, the names that have power, what banishment rituals. Demons are conjured from another plane of reality, whether it's hell or some sort of extra-dimensional hellscape, which means they can be banished. So you got to find out the banishing ritual for the demon.
I wouldn't take it on. I would find a new place to live.
Yeah, but see, that doesn't matter. You can go anywhere. The demon will follow you.
No, but what if the demons just live in their life? They're not bothering anyone.
Now we're getting into ghosts. See, demons are inherently malicious, supernatural creatures. Ghosts are just spirits.
Okay. I mean,
I would have a totally different
demons
attitude about
are
ghosts.
bothersome and ghosts.
Yeah, a ghost. My first opening move with a ghost would not be exorcism. That's pretty aggressive. I would try to see like what kind of ghost it is. Like, hey man, what's going on? Are you like in pain? Are you okay? Maybe I can help. Maybe we can be friends. Maybe they need me to help them on their journey. Like if shit starts to get real and they are coming after me, then you adjust. If we got like a poltergeist or a malicious spirit, but demons are the one thing, man. You're either making terrible bargains with them that ironically come back to you at the end, or they're just, swallowing your soul. So that's that.
If I came home from being out and I said, I just saw a ghost, what would you say?
I would want more information. Like, I would not disbelieve you, but scientific method style, we'd need to go through like all of the simple things it could have been. And once we eliminate that, then we can get deeper into what you might have seen. I would definitely want to go there with you and maybe try to see if there are I really think the most important step in that is to just apply the scientific method, rule out Occam's razor, that sort of thing, rule out like the simple and most obvious explanations. And once you have nowhere else to turn but the inexplicable, the supernatural, then start exploring that.
Well, you heard it here, Terror in Tandem listeners, that Richard is for hire.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I've got a very forward-thinking, progressive view on ghouls, demons, and
now we're talking about ghouls?
Oh, ghouls? That's a whole nother thing. You know
Yeah.
what? We'll save that for a different episode.
Okay.
I don't want to step on Charlie Day here.
So what are we doing today?
Oh, gosh. We thought... you and I, mostly you because you're smarter, is that we would talk about our very own beloved, well, not our own, just we love it, our beloved streaming service Shudder. Now, as we're coming into the summer months, we might do this with a couple of different streaming services. We're going to do Shudder today.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll do any other streaming service.
We might,
because this is dedicated to
maybe a bonus-ode.
Horror. Shudder is pretty much dedicated to like mystery, thriller,
Netflix
horror.
has a lot of horror on it.
Sure, they do. But
anyway, getting back to Shudder. So we're going to Shudder now. For those of you
we
that don't know,
wanted to highlight and focus on the streamer Shudder.
It's a kind of it's a niche horror streamer. In my opinion, it's one of a few, but it is one of the older ones, and in my opinion, the best. It's owned by AMC. So if you have an AMC Plus subscription already, I believe you can access most of the movies that are already on Shudder. But Shudder I love it because it's not expensive. They add stuff all the time, and they do a lot of original content. They produce a lot of stuff. I mean, they're behind the VHS series,
which we're going to talk about all original content, aren't we?
They've got, Joe Bob, the drive-in theater. They have a lot of great documentaries, a couple of fun reality shows like Dragula and the Boulet Brothers. It's a lot of fun. There's always something to watch.
And they rate all their stuff using skull technology.
They do, and they've got they have creatives come on and curate collections and give interviews. John Carpenter wrote the theme music for the streaming service itself. They have
documentaries.
They've got
horror.
An amazing podcast called Video Palace, which is maybe the best horror podcast I know a lot of people love Old Gods of Appalachia, and I'm getting into that, but Video Palace was tragically only one season and then I think a book, but it was so good. Anyway, Shudder is something that I discovered a few years ago. It has brought me so much joy, and as they expand and go into producing and releasing their own content, or at least getting exclusive deals on streaming, we thought it was time, as we head into summer, give you all some recommendations. And listen, it's only it's way less expensive than literally any other streaming place on there, and you're going to get a lot of things that you can't get elsewhere. I think honestly, between Shudder and Tubi, maybe Netflix every once in a while, you're pretty well covered. But
yeah, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to offer. So
now, disclaimer. Neither of us works for Shudder or gets any money from this. We just really like this shit.
Yeah, of course.
And I honestly, in the era of streaming services reneging on all of the promises that made them famous in the first place, Shudder's been pretty consistent, pretty cool, pretty solid with their prices and with their content, just getting better year after year. So why not?
So one of us took this assignment literally, which was, let's recommend some summer horror streaming on Shudder. That's me. I'm going to give you kind of the beach reads of the streaming watchable movies on Shudder. So think vacations, think bad things that happen on a road trip, things like that. I'm going to give you some Shudder original content to engage in and watch. And my co-host is going to give you what he thinks are his 5 best Shudder streaming recommendations.
Well, no, see, what I was told originally, excuse me, I did not yield my time, is that we were just going to pick 5 Shudder originals, meaning produced by or exclusive to, as our favorites
for our Summer of Shudder episode.
That's what I did. I didn't know it was Summer of Shudder until you told me this yesterday. You literally told me this yesterday. So
you heard me yesterday.
I'm going to just be discussing the 5
people. He doesn't listen.
My
you can
favorite
tell right now.
Is someone talking?
Your 5 favorite. I said that.
I obviously glisten all the time. Okay. I'm covered in snail slime. So
mucin. It's called snail mucin.
Is it?
Yeah. It like K beauty and lots of beauty products now. People use it all the time.
Featuring snail mucin.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, looks great, ladies. I'm just going to give you 5 really dope movies, 5 of the best. There are many, 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 many more on Shudder that I enjoy deeply and would not hesitate to recommend. But just for the sake of keeping this under 17 hours long, I'm going to give you 5. Now, I've talked about, I think, probably all of these. So I won't linger.
I've never talked about any of these.
And I have one to add to your list that I'm surprised you didn't.
Well, why don't you start?
Why don't I start? Now,
Just a brief synopsis.
I understand how this works. Now,
I don't know.
the nice thing is I tried to pick something each a little different from the other. So I'm going to start with 2020's pandemic breakout smash amazing movie from British director Rob Savage. I'm talking Host. Now, Host is a British independent supernatural horror film as described by Wikipedia. But what I really enjoyed about this movie was how relentlessly goddamn scary it was. It took, what could have been a very gimmicky premise of, doing this all over Zoom screens. And man, at the time this came out, boy, were we all in the middle of that. So, but it is, they essentially a bunch of friends get together for a pandemic era, Zoom check-in. And they do a seance with the help of an expert that they invite. And one of them fucks around, doesn't take it seriously, and it goes terribly. Now, this, it switches from, the cameras. Sometimes all of them are on the screen. Sometimes you're just getting close-up of one. But it's pulse-pounding. It's terrifying. It's very violent. And bleak. It is a really effective, great debut by Rob Savage, who's gone on to direct the terrible Dashcam and the very good Boogeyman. So really looking forward to his next work. But Host it's a quick, lean, there's no fat on this one. It starts pretty quickly, it doesn't let up, and the ending is just leaves you breathless. It is one of the scarier movies I'm going to recommend, but it doesn't require a lot of investment on your part. That's not a negative. I mean, you can just hop into this one at the beginning, watch it, enjoy it for what it is. You don't need to dissect it necessarily. It is just an old-fashioned, scary, terrifying horror movie.
It's for the casual movie viewer.
But I honestly, it's very, I don't want that to put you off. It's a hard R, scary movie.
I'm going to say that all of my recommendations are very casual.
That's not how I roll,
They're pulpy
folks.
beach reads.
I mean, my casual is another person's panic attack.
So another thing I wanted to say is I'm recommending movies that neither of us have seen. So these are just like recommendations for all of us to enjoy. My first one came out in 2018. It's on an Austrian film, so it's German language, and it's called Party Hard, Die Young. So the synopsis is that after graduation, a group of friends travel to an island resort in Croatia for the party of their lives, but it quickly turns into a nightmare when they're targeted by a mass murderer. So it's a slasher. It's an international slasher. There's a lot of modern integrations into this movie, like social media, filming on your phone, things like that, which I think is really interesting and adds like a new layer to contemporary film. And it was shot on location during a huge annual EDM festival for high school seniors throughout Europe. So
yikes.
Yeah.
Sounds like a place I'd want to stay away from.
So it's your like summer graduation slasher movie.
Oh, good. An island full of 17-year-olds on Molly.
Do not watch the dubbed version, people.
No.
Watch the
never watch
subtitled
the
version from its original German. Do not watch dubbed. It's a terrible mistake.
You're not getting the actor's performance. So this movie, I haven't seen it either, but from what I gather, it is one of those movies where critics were like, this movie is terrible, but the audience was like, this movie is incredible.
Yeah, the music is incredible. Yeah. The visuals are incredible. Yeah. Everybody's young and beautiful and sweaty.
I think a lot of critics perhaps missed the assignment on certain kinds of horror movies.
None of these are going to win Oscar awards.
They don't have to be The Exorcist. They don't have to be Rosemary's Baby. They can just be...
These are exactly what I said. Pulpy beach reads.
Party Hard, Die Young in Austria.
Yes.
I feel like you and I just watched something from Austria. didn't we?
Maybe.
Oh no, I believe no. We were watching a Mission Impossible movie, and the Chancellor of Austria was assassinated in a car bomb.
Wow.
Yeah.
You never saw that coming.
So you and I have been going through the Mission Impossible oeuvre.
We have.
In preparation for the latest installment of launching an elderly Scientologist off a moving airplane.
Which I can't wait.
Goddamn, listen, Tom Cruise.
We
I
give
don't
it
know
up to
how
you.
much longer you can do this, but goddamn, thank you for doing
What are
it
you
as long as
taking
you
for
have.
your joint health?
That's
what I.
cinema, my
That's
friends.
what I wonder.
Cinema has a place for the art house, the experimental, and just a vainglorious old millionaire throwing himself off a mountain for your enjoyment.
I wanted people to take a lesson from Tom Cruise when they make these types of movies is be as passionate and dedicated as he is.
Yeah, Tom Cruise
He's
clearly
dedicated.
It's an infectious part of his quality of his character is the guy is clearly very into the art and the not just the art but the technicalities and the logistics and the mechanisms and the work that goes into making a movie. And he lifts he lifts up a lot of other creatives and brings a lot of money to a failing industry. So
yeah, gets you out to the theaters. So
listen,
back to your recommendations,
if I may, Mr. Mapother the fourth. If you want
third,
we fourth, I believe
he's the third.
Well, whatever. If you want to keep rocketing yourself, firing yourself out of a cannon well into your 80s, just.
There'll be an audience for it.
Will be. I will watch all of it. Also, do a horror movie, dude. Do another one.
Well,
Interview with the Vampire was great. I'd like to see another horror movie.
Yeah.
Well, that was an aside.
Yeah, it was. Back to your recommendations.
Is it me? I'm gonna do. So my next one, I said host was my real scary, like intense one, right? So now we are going to my strangest. And there are a couple of weird ones on here, but for my money, nothing matches the absolute nightmarescape of Mandy. 2008.
Oh, your favorite.
Oh my gosh, this movie, I can never get enough of this movie. Now, Mandy came out in 2008. It's filmed by Panos Cosmatos, who before then had only really done Beyond the Black Rainbow, which is a real weird movie that I adore. It is the kind of movie that is more experiential than narrative, which is fine. Now, this stars Nicolas Cage in perhaps one of his, not perhaps, what is absolutely one of his best performances. Also, the always incredible Andrea Riseborough, Linus Roach, and Olwen Fure, who we love here at Terror in Tandem. So, long story short, Mandy and Red, Andrea Riseborough and Nicolas Cage live in the Pacific Northwest, sort of an isolated life, when she catches the eye of Linus Roach, who plays a cult leader. And he attempts to, impress and seduce her, and she laughs at his little pecker, which is cool, but, doesn't end well for Mandy. Very gruesome end for poor Andrea Riseborough, and that makes, in front of Nicolas Cage, they make him watch, and then Nicolas Cage goes on an LSD-fueled revenge quest through the woods of deep, Washington state. As
he likes to do movies in the woods.
He pursues a demonic bicycle gang. They're not literally demonic. They are men who have fried their brains so intensely on experimental LSD that this weird guy called the Chemist cooks up in the woods that they think they're demons. So they've altered their bodies. And listen, he fights a guy with a chainsaw with another chainsaw. He forges his own incredibly cool knife sword Klingon weapon thing. It's
indescribable. It sounds like
it is, because it's very intense. It's very bizarre. The lighting it's very hyper stylized. The lighting is incredible. It's scary. Nicolas Cage gives an unhinged performance, even when he's sober. But for a lot of the movie, he is tripping nuts. It is brutal, beautiful, bleak, but also, in a way, kind of, I don't know if I'd say hopeful, but certainly has a a strange melancholic beauty to it. There is no other filmmaker like Panos Cosmatos. His newest project is one I may watch. I'm not sure yet. He's doing a concert movie for not a concert movie, but like kind of like how Pink Floyd did The Wall, but like for Miley Cyrus.
Oh,
which honestly, I think Miley Cyrus's musical evolution over the last few years has been pretty interesting and cool. I think she's gotten and directed by Panos Cosmatos, it could be really dark and funky, but
she's got some like darkness in her.
I'm gonna. You know what? Now the more that I say it, I think it's been a long time since Party in the USA, and I want to see what a little bit more like grown up and darker Miley Cyrus is capable of. I realized in that moment I was not giving this artist a chance, and I'm stopping myself right now to say, yeah, you know what? Fuck yeah, she's a talented artist, and Panos Cosmatos is one of the most interesting directors alive. So yes, I will be seeing his new Miley Cyrus movie, just to see what it is. And I'm sorry for that momentary lapse into grumpiness, but yeah, Mandy. Oh gosh, look, Nicolas Cage. I've made no secrets and no bones about how deeply I adore him as an actor and as a weirdo.
Wow, you're getting choked up.
I am getting a little choked up as an actor and as one of life's truly weird people. But Mandy might be his crowning achievement.
Don't think that all celebrities aren't exactly like Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage just doesn't hide it.
How dare you?
So
anyway, Mandy.
Yeah.
Also produced by Elijah Wood.
Oh, cute. My next is called Superhost. This is definitely is
that like the sequel to Host?
Homegrown. No, it's like a homegrown made movie. It came out in 2021, directed by Brandon Christensen, who's done mostly visual effects, starring Sarah Canning. She's from The Vampire Diaries and loads of Christmas movies. Like, she's somebody who, when she pops up, you're like, where have I seen her before? You can ask that about a lot of people. And it's probably Vampire Diaries, to be honest.
Klaus?
It also
was
stars
that one of them? Was one of them Klaus?
Yeah.
Was the eyebrow guy? Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
God, his eyebrows are magnificent.
I don't know. You can't. I'm busy.
I'm sorry.
The other person in this film, there's a man and then another woman, Gracie Gillam, who was also on Vampire Diaries.
What?
So the Vampire Diaries are making connections all over the place. Anyway,
Dear Diary.
Superhost is about a couple who are YouTube travel bloggers that own a vlog called Superhost. They find an isolated rental in the woods, and when they get there, all they have is problems. No access code, no cell service, like a lock is broken. And because their online engagement has been starting to drop off, they're determined to make this endeavor work. So they just put up with it, and they have to contact the superhost of this rental, Rebecca. And we meet Rebecca, played by Gracie Gillam, and she is strange and clearly unhinged. And she is very, very involved in all aspects of this rental. And so I'm sure you can imagine what it would be like to be in the middle of the woods at a rental, and the host just keeps finding excuses to either not leave or pop up and be involved. So it looks like it's just easy fun.
Oh, it's got Osric Chow in it.
Yeah.
He was Ryan. He was like the second Adam in DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which I might have watched.
Yeah, everybody exactly knows who you're talking about from that reference. So
at least one person.
Check out Superhost. It looks like a lot of fun, and everybody's been in a vacation rental or knows about vacation rentals or has dreamed about going on a vacation and renting someplace. So
and anytime you have a movie with vloggers or influencers in it, like a horror movie, you're going to get to see at least one of them get murdered, right? And
I have another recommendation satisfying. Later on that is also focused on that, which I'm really about the indulgencies of
legit. I heard that one's
people.
Pretty good.
Yeah. What's your next?
Well, my next, because we're talking Shudder here, it would be criminal of me to exclude an Indonesian movie. So I am going with the one that got me into Indonesian horror. Now, I think I've said before, I came to Indonesian filmmaking by Gareth Evans and The Raid and Merantau and Iko Uwais and stuff like that. But then I started to get into the horror movies.
Yeah.
And that led me to Satan's Slaves, which known as
a very light, viewable
Pengabdi Setan. And it is a remake, like a very loose remake, kind of prequel, but it's its own thing to the 1980 film of the same name, which was really, really popular back when Indonesia, their film industry in the 70s and 80s was a really big deal.
And we just mentioned the director
in our now world famous Indonesia episode. So I won't get too far into that, but Joko Anwar is the godfather of this revival.
And that's no Joko.
So now this movie is it's a lot different. Now, he's a bit of a different filmmaker than a lot of his Indonesian contemporaries. Is like Timo Tjahjanto and Kimo Stambol and some others. They tend to have some over-the-top elements, whereas Anwar's, they're very violent, but he has a bit more restraint, I think, in his filmmaking. Always seems to explore themes of faith, belief, of the loss of faith, coming back to it. And because it's Indonesia, it's usually from an Islamic Muslim point of view, and the conflict of that with more like tribal and rural older religions, because Indonesia is a country with many thousands of years in its history.
Yeah, the conflict of the old and the new, which is very prevalent in a lot of Indonesian films.
Satan's Slaves, it came out in 2017. It was the highest grossing Indonesian film of that year, and did, like I said, a really big deal in not only bringing more money and attention to that burgeoning, revitalizing industry, but it internationalized it. You know, it was a big hit overseas. It led to a sequel called Satan's Slaves Communion, and there's in 2022, which was also very good. And it is going to be developed into there's a trilogy. To wrap it out is always going to be a trilogy, but it is just, it's a terrifying movie. It's about a lot of Indonesian recurring themes of generational curses, of the struggle between Islam and older, more paganistic religions, you know, old gods versus the new god, the idea of faith and ritual and bargains and making terrible deals. That's all in there. I talked, I think, a bit about this movie in our Indonesian episode. Yes, you did. So I won't get too far into it, but it's terrifying. It has a wonderful ending. Tara Basro, who is a regular player in his movies, she was in Impetigore, which we also talked about. She is in it. She's also in the sequel. I really hope they make the third one. I don't see why they wouldn't. Just Joko Anwar is such a busy person. He's got his hands in a lot of pies. But this is a good one to get started with because it's a little bit slower. It's a little bit more subdued. And the rising building dread leads to a breathtaking ending that it's well constructed. And I also, from someone who came up watching these, horror movie morality tales from a very Judeo-Christian point of view, it's the same exact story, just told from a Muslim, Southeastern Asian point of view. That's it. It's just, you want the best for your family. You're trying to defeat the evil. It wants your children because it preys on innocence. So in one movie, you're yelling at it in Latin, and in the other movie, you're yelling at it in Arabic. But the cultural differences and details make it so refreshing for me as a viewer. It's also beautifully shot, well acted, gory, scary. It's just all the things you want a horror movie to be. I cannot recommend Satan's Slaves enough. It's like an A. It's a A+ movie. Just a really. You do need to pay attention to it, is what I mean.
Awesome. Well, why don't we take a quick break?
Why not? Ever feel like you just want to drop everything sometimes and disappear? Are you the kind of person who watches the end of Thelma and Louise and thinks, There's a great idea. Well, my friends, I am here to tell you the answer to all of your terrible life decisions and cascading personal issues is here, and you don't even have to form a suicide pact to get it. Introducing Go Missing on Us, the world's premier kidnap for hire and death faking service. Worried that murder you covered up all those years ago will come back to haunt you? Are the feds sniffing around those offshore accounts full of your war profiteering? Or maybe a hungry young DA is opening an inquiry into the fact that your last 5 wives died by falling down the same staircase. Whatever the reason, Go Missing on Us will provide you not only with a witness proof of public abduction, but also the documents you'll need to continue living the amoral piece of shit lifestyle you've grown accustomed to, free from consequences because you deserve it for being rich. Go Missing on Us employs only the most unhinged recruits, dishonorably discharged from Russian mercenary companies, to ensure an authentically brutal experience that will leave no doubt as to the legitimacy of your disappearance. Some bruising and light skull fractures may occur. For an extra fee, we'll even send taunting letters to law enforcement and strands of your hair to loved ones for years to follow, keeping just enough hope alive to really make it sting. So say goodbye to debtors, spurned loved ones, and the relentless family members of those you've murdered, and call Go Missing on Us. Act now, and we'll throw in a choice of dead presidents or real dead pig head masks for your abductors. This is a fake ad for a fake product on a horror-themed podcast. We do not condone nor endorse faking one's death as a way of avoiding responsibility. Perhaps some therapy? And we're back.
Yeah.
Oh.
So my next recommendation is called Who Invited Them?
Wouldn't
Which
you like to
hasn't
know?
anybody asked that of certain party attendees? This came
asked
out
of me many times.
This came out in 2022, directed by Duncan Birmingham, starring Timothy Grandaderos from 13 Reasons Why, and Ryan Hansen, which he's always fun, from Party Down, Veronica Mars, and Friday the 13th, the Jared Padalecki one.
Nice.
But this is a horror comedy where a couple host a party at their new home to show off their views and obvious success. And this other couple who were not really invited are the last to leave. They keep lingering. And they, start to act strange. It's kind of the same vibe that Speak No Evil had, where you have these couples who are maybe taken aback by the behaviors of this strange couple who might be pushing your limits or pushing your boundaries a little bit. But out of courtesy, you're not really pushing back and you're not really calling them out on it. So, they're the last to leave. They linger at this party and things get real weird.
I'm so happy I've entered this phase in my life now where that can't happen to me, because I'll just straight up stand up and be like, you got to go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you can't read social cues, but get out.
Yeah.
That's just how I roll.
So this doesn't happen.
I did that at the last party I was invited to 8 years ago.
And it was the last party you were ever invited to.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, yeah. You kicked people out of a party you were invited to?
No, that was a joke.
Okay.
Although in college, when we had that problem, when people wouldn't leave our parties and when we had made the announcements, we had a hollow lacrosse stick. We would drop bottle rockets in it and just shoot it at the people until they left.
Yikes.
This was after this was people who were like, we're not fucking leaving, we're not done. It's literally our house, so you shoot bottle rockets at them and that makes them leave.
Yeah, I think most of the time people leave, but sometimes there are lingers. And
no, you get a
even
big
with
house
the
party
lingers,
going. You
if
get
they're not weird,
alcohol in.
If they're not weird, you can just be like, yeah, we're turning the lights on and blowing the candles out, and we're getting in our pajamas. Thank you.
Or you shoot bottle rockets at them.
So who invited them?
I don't know. I thought they were your friends.
What's your next one?
Oh gosh, my next one is now we're talking Oddity from director Damien McCarthy. Now this came out this past year, and it was the follow-up to Caveat, which is another brilliant film that I really wanted to recommend, but Oddity was just a little bit better. Now, we talked a lot about it on the pod, so I won't get too far, but it's another Irish film. It's actually filmed in the same location as Caveat. Follows a blind medium played by Carolyn Bracken. She plays two roles. She plays the murdered sister at the beginning of the movie, and then the vengeful sister who shows up one night at the widower's house, her ex-brother-in-law, who's got a really quick new live-in hot young girlfriend with him. And she shows up with the scariest looking doll ever. And by doll, I mean 6-foot-tall carved wooden monstrosity that's also filled with witch hexes and charms.
Oh, nice.
And what follows is a very, very strange night of cat and mouse as she sort of traps this guy in his mansion that he's renovating. Also the same place her sister was murdered. And she enacts, terrible supernatural vengeance on him. But it takes a lot of twists and turns you may not expect. It. The ending is certainly not necessarily the clean, I got my revenge that, is like audience satisfying. But it's a terrifying movie. It's very strange. The design of the puppet is so rad. And when it starts ending up in places where you didn't put it, that's really cool. But, the heart of the movie is just Damien McCarthy's ability to create oppressive, strange, unnerving situations and atmospheres from seemingly like regular stuff.
Yeah.
Like the strange house from Caveat. And he definitely specializes in, unreliable narrators and not kind of keeping you off balance. Like what exactly is going on? Now it is pretty well laid out. It's not like the movie ends on a cliffhanger or anything, but it's just one of those movies that really rests on the creativity of the creator because it's low budget. There's not a ton of action necessarily, but it is utterly enthralling, scary, and satisfying all the way through. It got great marks. It was really acclaimed, even from people that don't normally watch movies like this. I had a couple friends of mine who are pretty strictly like Conjuring viewers, like they don't really venture deeper into that, who watched Oddity and loved it.
Yeah.
So despite it being this very weird little Irish independent film, it's reached international acclaim because
really accessible.
It's not just that. I don't think so. I think it's just that it was so well done that you can't deny this movie kind of rules.
Awesome.
Because I wouldn't call it accessible. It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
But it's an example of, I think, to a lot of artists out there who worry about getting their stuff published or filmed or made, I do think there's something to be said for just be very good at this.
Yeah.
Be talented, work hard, persevere, because this movie works because it was made by singularly talented and passionate people.
Awesome.
So Odyssey, can't recommend it enough. Loved it.
My next recommendation is called Influencer, and it came out in 2022, and it stars Emily Tennant and Cassandra Nudd from the TV show C and The Good Doctor and other things. And Cassandra Nudd is kind of a standout because she's a pretty big advocate. She has it's like a type of mole on her face that takes up her entire cheek area, and it's pretty dark. And she uses it to kind of differentiate herself as an actress and advocate for people to be accepted for, what they bring to the table. So I think it's pretty interesting that this is the type of role that she's in. And she seems to be pretty successful working actress right now, which is really great. And I applaud that. So this film is about Madison, who's played by Emily Tennant, and she takes her social media followers with her on a trip to Thailand. So she goes on this lavish vacation to Thailand, and of course, in front of the camera, she is living it up, and she is having the best time of her life, and everything's beautiful and perfect. But as soon as she puts her phone down, you start to see that, she's kind of isolated and lonely and not enjoying her trip that much. And
am I to understand that the influencer lifestyle is not authentically as
Come on.
displayed.
This came out in 2022. If you don't know that by now.
Like there was that recent documentary on Netflix about the Liver King, who he was like the guy who ate nothing but like raw animal liver, and he was like, oh, the caveman lifestyle, and then it turns out he was spending $11,000 a month on steroids.
Oh, wow.
You can't
you can't live on liver alone.
Apparently he's also dying now, which
I mean, liver has way too much iron for anybody to like.
Hey, listen, if I can't get medical advice from some sausage man on TikTok, then I don't know what to believe.
Anyway, she's obviously an influencer in front of the camera, and behind the camera, very lonely, isolated. So she meets a fellow traveler, CW. That's who Nud plays, and
formerly known as the WB.
They become fast friends. At least that's what Madison thinks.
Uh-oh.
And they travel to like an island, and things are not as happy as anyone thinks. So, influencer. Check it out. It's like this weird, those weird friends that you meet on vacation, but maybe you shouldn't. I mean, I think probably to a more pop culture, super bloated budget and ego extent, a simple favor is kind of the vibe of this. Nice.
Yeah. Well, my last one here is another favorite of mine from another favorite director of mine, and it is 2023's When Evil Lurks. Cuando acecha la maldad, which is an Argentinian film by Demian Rugna. Rugna did 2017's Terrified, which was one of the scariest haunted house movies I have seen in forever. It was
made you terrified?
Unbelievably, like really like jump out of your seat scary.
Is that the found footage one?
No. So When Evil Lurks is I've talked about this. It's the near future, following these two brothers, and during this sort of weird outbreak of demonic possession. It treats demonic possession as like a virus, as a contagion. So in this world, this has been going on for a little while, and it's kind of like COVID. Like things have just sort of collapsed. People have it's not that the end of the world is here. It's just that people have stopped like being vigilant, and the government stopped providing information. And these two hapless brothers get exposed to the evil, and just a series of unfortunate events starts an outbreak, like a demonic possession outbreak. Now, this movie it's unique. It's interesting. I love the idea of treating, demonic evil as like a contractable disease. There are very specific rules you have to follow, and for those of us, as we all live through COVID, we realize that even when you give people very, very simple, very easy rules to follow, they just don't. For a myriad of frustrating reasons, they just fucking don't. So, in some of the reviews, you'll see people like, oh, these brothers were stupid. It's like, well, yeah, we all are. All of us are. We've proven that over and over again. And they were dealing with way more than we ever had to do. So this movie is super gory, very graphic, but contains moments of horror that are just, that make your blood run cold. It's a bleak, dark movie where evil just crawls across the land. And you get the sense that humanity being what it is, we just never really had a chance, If our survival depends on working together and following rules, then, we're fucked.
Yeah.
But this movie it's a wonderful spin on the possession genre. It's directed by an absolute upcoming master of the genre. I'll watch anything this guy does. He also did a really great short for Satanic Hispanics, the anthology a few years ago. But Demian Rugna's When Evil Lurks was my movie of the year when it came out. It's just unrelentingly horrifying, which I like in a horror movie.
Awesome. Yeah, I know you do. My last recommendation is also from 2023 called Night of the Hunted, directed by Frank Halfoon, who directed P2.
Oh, that was the surprisingly good parking lot.
Yeah, parking garage.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually a pretty decent movie.
And starring Camille Rowe.
With the girl from the last season of Alias.
Yes. The blonde.
Not Balthazar Getty?
No. And it's a remake of...
Shout out to all the Balthazar Getty superfans out there. We know there's at least one.
It's a remake of 2015 Spanish thriller Night of the Rat. And this starts out with
Noche de la Rata.
Alice, who is with her husband in a hotel room, and they decide to drive home. And so it's like a road trip. They need to get gas. They stop at a seemingly empty, in the middle of nowhere gas station. And Alice goes into the shop, and she is pinned down by a gunman. The gun is shooting off. And all she hears is somebody on the walkie-talkie who starts to taunt her, who keeps her trapped. She's being toyed with, and it seems to be some kind of game of moral judgment. Does he know her? It seems like it. We don't know until you know. And it's kind of that one location, one actor.
So is this like a remake
filming.
Of Carnage Park or Downrange?
No, Night of the Rat.
No, oh really?
Yeah.
It's like this sounds exactly like the plot of Mickey Keating's Carnage Park or Ryuhei Kitamura's Downrange, where they just get pinned down by a psycho sniper.
No, he's not a sniper.
I thought you said he was a sniper.
No, we don't really know where the shooting is coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, maybe it's a sniper. Maybe it is
Isn't
like inspired by those deranged sniper movies. Also the One Location horror movie, like Phone Booth.
Yeah.
But it's an actual remake of a Spanish thriller from 2015 called Night of the Rat.
That's funny because so that came out in 2015, and then I think Carnage Park came out in 2016, and then Downrange came out in 2017. So there was and this was also, I think, not long after that famous event in Washington, D.C., where those two snipers were killing people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's
all connected. American Snipers.
Nope, that's not what it's called. It's called Night of the Hunted. And again, I think there's like some moral judgment. There's like a sign that said God is nowhere. Her husband comes in and he doesn't do well. So it
just seems like
she's trying to stay alive and keep other people that come in alive, and also try to figure out how to get out of this situation.
Well, where was the good guy with the gun?
Yeah.
Because that is what I was told stops these things from happening.
So Night of the Hunted, basically what you have here is Richard's favorites and deep divey, thought-provoking, non-casual viewing.
Thanks, everyone.
Exploration of horror on Shudder.
Yay.
And you have my, Big Leak Chew in a metal foil packet that you lose flavor in a couple of minutes after starting chewing it. Fun.
Holy shit, there's a place for both.
Light horror options. Also,
Hereditary
on Shudder.
may be one of my favorite movies of all time, but that doesn't mean I want it to be the only movie I watch.
Yeah. You can have both.
Yes.
You
should have both, honestly.
You can have both this summer.
Balance.
If things are too heavy for you, try one of mine. If you want to really get into something cerebral and horrific, watch one of Richard's. Or watch neither. We don't really care.
I like to swing between.
Check out what you want on Shudder. It's a streaming service that everyone has access to, and I think it's only $5.99 a month.
I like to swing between, a month. Tucker and Dale versus Evil, over to Hereditary.
Yeah.
Back over
this
to
episode was not sponsored by Shudder, although we are open to it.
It could be.
So check out something on Shudder. That's the ultimate hope of this episode, is that we've given you enough options for the summer and beyond. And if you like this episode, send us a DM. Always give us a 5-star review on one of the listening platforms, and we'll see you next time.
Or from the beyond. Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Suspanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're standing right behind you.